Thank you very much for inviting me. It was a pleasant surprise when I received an email from Dr. Sudhir Nayak. I had met him some time back, it's about a decade back. Then of course, when I said yes, then I saw his response saying that we knew each other earlier. And also when I landed here yesterday, I had an opportunity to meet the senior officials of the organization, Mr. Narayana. This institution seems to be different because I also go to the various other institutions like IT companies. If you want to be a machine, you have to be in IT field. No one knows who is there next. Everything is treated as a machine. In fact, when I enter the campus, they want to know what is the serial number of my laptop, and then they will scan. Once I told security fellow, what is most important you are not scanning? You are scanning all the other things which is of useless. He was curious to know what I meant. I said brain is more important. So that is the level there is, that's a kind of slavery. In fact, somehow I am lucky I didn't get into that kind of a domain. So I had an opportunity to work in an institution where the freedom is there. Freedom to think, freedom to do research. Because of that we are excelling in our domain. Where our freedom is curtailed, you become a slave and you will not share. That's the, we all know that June 5th is celebrated as a World Environment Day. That is to bring awareness among the people about the importance of the environment. What is environment? What are ecosystems? Why we have to conserve? And this year's theme is big plastic pollution. The people think that, okay, if they have the bottled water, they are taking a very good quality water. You should come to Bangalore. The way the people think, even our children are given the bottled water. When I was going to school, my mother never gave me the plastic bottle. She always used to put it in a steel or a vessel. And I see there are some busy people in Bangalore, maybe in other places also. When they go to hotel to get a food for the children, they don't take the steel carrier. They get it packed. I was curious. As my researcher, I always, when I speak with data. Otherwise I won't speak. So as a researcher I wanted to know, are there any implications of the pollution? One is the plastic. One of the things is note that plastic is a synthetic material, does not get assimilated in the nature, it creates a mess. But at the same time, I wanted to know whether there are any health issues. When I analyze the water quality, you can do it in your lab. And the food, I found the residues of BPA and the dioxins. These are all chemical constituents that gives the cancer. That means when we give the plastic water, we are inviting our guests that you have come to us, take the cancer from us. That is the thing. That awareness has to come. I have seen the plastic bottles, but change has to happen. I have made changes in various institutions. Because when I went for one of the colleges in South Canada, where 25,000 kids were there, CEO of the institution was walking around with a plastic bottle in his hand. I passed a remark about the implications of that. Today if you go to the same institution, everybody uses steel cups and steel jugs and there is no plastic there. So that means changes are possible. To bring changes, we need change makers. That's what the job of the people like us who know something, we should communicate. In fact, if you look at my calendar, anybody in my place wouldn't have traveled by road to come to this place. But I thought that, okay, this part This district I have not visited, especially the Hospet and Koppal. Let me take a chance. I told my student also to join me. I said, let us just go together. So, because we work with remote sensing, I said, you do your work of collecting the field data. So, I will do my job in the laptop, and a good vehicle was there, so there was no problem for me to use laptop also. So, it was the most convenient journey, and we landed yesterday here. So, my agenda is to communicate to you all. If there are any problem, please raise your hand at any point so that I can clarify that. Okay? So, now, we all talk about sustainable development. Sustainable development is what is sustainable development? This has become a jargon. If you can give clean air and water to your children, you have maintained the sustainability. Okay? And there should be sustainability of natural resources. When you have natural resources in plenty, there won't be any conflict. See, when there is a water scarcity, you see a conflict between two states, between two neighbors, or within a family also. So that is that means if you are talking about sustainable development, you need to plan. That planning is done by the decision maker. Responsible planning has to happen. So that can happen only with the sensible people. Who are these sensible people? According to me, people who know about environment or the environmental process, they are the sensible people. When you impart a knowledge about environment, you are not just giving the education to them, you are also making one more person a human being. So that person tomorrow will not be a burden to the nature. So when you look at our country, 65% are youth. If we can enhance the knowledge in the youth about environment, I have done my job. At the end of my talk, I will try to highlight how we are trying to communicate to the wider sector of the society. So now, as far as the current at this stage, let us understand sensible people are the one who have the environmental knowledge. That's where the program of this kind in an institution like this certainly helps. Because when you go home, you will talk to your family. So, and you will give this one. That means the sense what you have got from here, you will show at your home. That will, tomorrow you do not know. Your child might have taken a different path because of that. So that is the kind of change happens in the system. Now, let us understand the ecosystem and environment in a simpler way. See, I believe in talking in very simple way so that it becomes very effective. When you look at this slide, this is a simple food chain, Aharta Sarapli. When you see this, the food chain, what do you see? You see the plants producing the food during photosynthesis, which is eaten by the next level by herbivores, and then which are eaten by the next level. Now, this is nothing but simple energy and material transport. This is what thermodynamic principles we engineers talk about. The three laws of thermodynamics, you can talk about it in this slide. The energy and material transfer happen from one level to the other. Okay? And then at each level there is a loss of energy, law of entropy you can talk about, the law of optimization you can speak about, and finally when you look at this, you see that whatever is left in the system is getting converted into the elemental form by microorganisms, bacteria and fungi. That's why there is nothing called waste in the system. Where do you see waste? You will see waste where waste people are there. Who are these waste people? My friends who use too much of plastic. They will wear plastic jerkin, they will carry the plastic bottle, they carry the food in the plastic boxes. That is so that is where the first message here is nature's principle. Let us learn from Mother Nature. Then we will understand the subject better. Then let us look at how many species are there on the earth. If you look at our scriptures, we have talked about it. If you look at the number 8 to 12 billion species, the Rig Veda talks about. See, when you criticize it, you should come out with the reliable number. The science, we have estimated about 1.3 million species. So that means we have inherited the knowledge, but unfortunately during colonial rulers, our knowledge was taken away by the rulers. Because they knew that if Indians are too intelligent, they cannot survive in the system. And that's where we pay the price. Now, I work in Western Ghats. My study region is from Kerala to Gujarat. 8 degree to 22 degree latitude. Since most of you are engineers, I am sure you know the latitude, longitude or XY point. Now, let us look at the number of species that occur on the earth along the latitudinal gradient. When you see that, okay, first before that let us see what are the varieties of species are there. We have identified some are called indicator species. Their presence shows the kind of habitat that they are there. For example, this particular species shows that there is a water. This indicates the health of the ecosystem. Then similarly, when you look at the diversity, you have species diversity, you have genetic diversity, and you have the ecosystem diversity. And depending on this, you have the varieties. Now you might say that, why these varieties are important? Because of these varieties, you have different food. Because of different food, you have the different medicines. And because of that, you have immunity in the system. Herbivore, you need 2 square kilometers of grassland. If you don't maintain 2 square kilometer grassland, you will not have herbivore. Since herbivore is not there, your tiger is not there. So that is the thing. See, we introduced cheetah in Madhya Pradesh. Did we understand the habitat of cheetah before bringing? Yes, we did that. But in spite of that, you saw that there were unfortunate deaths happened. Okay, now coming back to the Western Ghats. I say this is the region we have to conserve it for our children. Let us say, there are people who talk about development. How much area is Western Ghats when you look at India geographical area? Western Ghats constitute only 5% of India's geographical area. And 100 plus rivers originate in Western Ghats. So, without doing anything, still noise is there. Okay. So, they are perennial. Because of that, you have water security. Because of water security, you have food security in peninsular area. When we have the food security, can't we keep 5% of India's geographical area for our children? We don't want to do that. And out of 5%, we have identified about 40% as ecologically sensitive. That means out of 5%, 40%, that means entire area only 2%. We said please conserve it for our children. Even that they don't want. Okay? So that, but certainly if you all decide, things can change. That's what we should be doing. And that's why how we can manage the system. You maintain the ecosystem integrity. So I hope you won't switch off the mic itself. Okay. Now let us see, as you move from Kerala to Gujarat, our latitudinal gradient, when you move from this one, you see that latitudinal gradient is here and the number of species. When you look at this carefully, at 8 to 14 degree latitude, you have the highest number of species. Where is this 8 to 14 degree occurs? It is Kerala and Karnataka part of Western Ghats. See, we inherited that. Such a rich, diverse the landscape where we have diversity of plants and animals. So that means people from Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu have to conserve that. Okay? But there are changes happening in the system. Okay? Now, how to manage the system? You need to maintain the ecosystem integrity. What is this ecosystem integrity? I talked about it in the last slide. If you maintain physical integrity and chemical integrity, then you will have the biological integrity. That means the species that occur in a particular species For that to occur, it should have its home habitat, the physical habitat, and also the quality has to be there. So that is the physical and chemical integrity. Now you have seen, people get excited. Sitting in Delhi, they start talking about linking of rivers. Such a foolish thing. People even today they talk about it without even understanding the implications of that. Why I am against such illogical projects? Because the species that are there in the Ganga, when it comes to the Kaveri, it becomes an exotic species. Because of the different climatic regime, it becomes a weed. That means we lose our food. Our species will disappear. If you go to Tamil Nadu, there is something called an alligator fish is there. Alligator fish, if you look at, is neither a fish nor crocodile. You are losing your food because of such this. That happened because of this kind of the connecting other river to this. That is where we change and in the process we lost the food. Okay. So now, how the science will help? Let us see. We launched the satellites way back in 70s. That's one sector we have done a lot of inroads. Satellites goes on taking photograph of the Earth regular interval. Every 21 or 30 days interval you get a photograph of this Earth. Suppose you have your photograph 20 years back and today. What is the use of that? You can see what changes are happened in your Earth. Okay, morphological changes you can make out. Similarly, if I have the camera mounted like this, I can see what changes are happening in the system. Today, the big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning are all this, the emerging areas. We have been talking about it. In fact, two of my students worked in 2000 about the algorithm, and today they are IIT, the professors. When I look at artificial intelligence, is nothing but algorithm what we have been talking about in 2000. But people have coined the new terminology. So I told my current students, don't worry, what I talked is the same thing holds good today also. So, but one of the thing what happened with this machine learning is, when you have big data to analyze, it takes a time. See, if you see that when you are in a college, to analyze the watershed or analyze the district, the land cover, professors would have taken 2 years. But today, my students do it in a week. One district. Entire Western Ghats, my students did it in 6 months. Okay? That is the power of technology. Now, what is the use of this kind of thing? What changes are happening from year 1 to year 2 you can make out. Now, when you look at that, green is changing, green is declining. Not only the forests are declining, forests are also getting fragmented. I will talk about what is the implication of fragmentation in a few minutes. In fact, when I came to this campus, yesterday I was quite happy. It was slightly dark. As the vehicle was moving, I saw the species of plants. I was happy to see there are ficus species. I said, okay, people know about keystone species. That's why they have planted the thing. Of course, we saw the eucalyptus also slightly interior. So, but we saw the ficus and we were quite happy. Okay. So now coming back to the subject here. Now today, if you look at the last 2 decades, we have lost 5% forest cover in the Western Ghats. Okay, and forests also got fragmented. We also did the quantification to see what is the value of the thing. See, you all at home, you would have come across the term. Idrinda nanigenu upayoga. To answer that, in the forest, the vegetation, during photosynthesis, they take the carbon from the atmosphere and they store it. If you quantify that, they store it in their bark, they store it in their trunk and the leaves. Now if you quantify that, you know that how much carbon is removed from the atmosphere. That is the greatest service the plants are doing. We all know the warming of the earth is happening because of this species of carbon. Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, etc. These greenhouse gases forms a layer. They are not allowing the heat to escape. In the process, warming of the earth is happening. When the warming of the earth happens, you have the problem of changes in climate. When you want rain, you don't get it. When you don't want, you will have rain. As it happened when farmers are about to harvest the crop, you saw that 3 years back there was a heavy rain. Farmers had the serious problem. So that is the implication of changes in climate. To understand that, if you want to know the role of Western Ghats, how much carbon it is storing, if you quantify that, it holds about 1.23 million gigagrams. But more importantly, every year it stores about 37,000 gigagrams. You might ask, what is this gigagram? It is nothing but ton. That 37,000 is nothing but equivalent to the emission that is happening in the city like Trivandrum, Kochi, Bangalore, etc. That means nature knows how to balance it, provided if we maintain the integrity. But we are not doing it. Now, if you assign the value, see, suppose you work for the overtime 2 hours, you ask for the OT, this one, allowance. The same way, if you give the money to that, it amounts to 100 billion rupees or $1.4 billion. You might ask, what is the use of this? When I go to international forums, when I represent my country, this is my argument to them. The forest in my country has taken away the carbon you fellows have emitted. At that time, my country was not developed or developing. We are underdeveloped. But your carbon, my trees were taking it. Because of that, so since we have only one earth, our trees have done the job. Now, to conserve this forest, you need to pay that. That's where the carbon tax and the carbon, the mitigation strategy, all those things emerge with that discussion. Okay? Now, when you have the historical data of 3 or 4 decades, you can also predict. See, your teacher predicts your behavior. How? Because he or she has seen you for a couple of years. He says what you are likely to be, especially the school teachers, but not the college teachers. Because the college teachers, they don't themselves come to the class properly these days. So that is the other part. So when you have that, you predict the thing, what is the likely scenario? We see that there is a further degradation of the forest animal. Now, more importantly, how we are going to pay the price. The temperature will increase. The region which is wettest, Kerala, will have an increase in temperature. Okay? Then the changes in temperature. The region which was receiving higher rainfall will start receiving lower rainfall. Again, Kerala will be affected. Then, if you look at the rainy days, the number of rainy days, which is spread across 3 to 4 months in Karnataka, 6 to 8 months in Kerala. Now, instead of rain coming for that many months, it will come for a few weeks or a few days. When you have that shorter duration, large quantum of rain, you have the floods happening. That's what happened in Kodagu and Kerala. In 2018, when I published this, I had written a paragraph about likely impacts of the thing. At that time, when we published, people didn't take it seriously. I said that Kerala and Karnataka will pay the price, and especially I had mentioned the Kodagu. And when the floods happened, there was landslides and mudslides, and there's a large scale calamities happened. But of course, after that, everybody started calling me to find out what is to be done. So this is so that's how science helps in the decision making. Okay, now I'll come to the second part of my talk. This is the region, both are same region, but only the years are different. This is in 1991 and today. When you see that there is no water here, but here there is a water. Now if you carefully see, could be because of the forest. So that is what we investigated. So how the land is covered, the ecosystem functions also differ. If land is covered with the greenery of forest, the job of the ecosystems are different. Now what are the functions of the ecosystem? You all know hydrological cycle, nutrient cycling, biogeochemical cycle. These all you would have studied when you are doing in the school, or your children at home would be studying these chapters if they are in the 6th or 7th standard. When you are teaching them, you would have come across this. Today some of the people don't even know what is water cycle. I will not ask question because you are all working professionals, so I will not touch your memory of the school days. But when I take class for the teachers, which was I was doing in Andhra Pradesh, I was taking a class for the under the FDP program for about 45 teachers from engineering and science colleges. I asked what is water cycle. Many hands went up, but one fellow was very aggressive. I asked him, okay, you tell me what is water cycle. He told me, sir, you see outside. I saw outside thinking it's raining. He said, see outside, people are carrying water pot on bicycle. When you carry water on cycle, that becomes water cycle. You are all laughing now, but I felt so bad on that day. I just walked out of that room. I said, I'm unfit to take a class for you fellows. I'm just walking out. But after that, I was in the guest house. I had decided to return to Bangalore immediately. Some of the faculty came and said, just because of one apple, you should not have cut short your journey. I said, this program is for 25 days. I will assure you, I will come back in this 25 days in my own money and I will take the class. On one condition, that bad apple or such bad apple should not be in my classroom because they are unfit to be teachers. And I don't want such teachers in the system. And of course, after 20 days, I traveled to the place, I took a class and came back. That was my satisfaction and people were also happy. If you talk to some other faculty from Andhra, they might narrate this incident.
Where is the rotten mango?
Sorry?
Where is the rotten mango?
That's true. So now coming back to this one, see, this is, let us to understand this. I will take you to Sharavati river place. Agriculture and bird ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಈಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟು, ಇದು ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಳೆ ಇದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಾಡಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಣ. ಈಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ 30%, ಈ ಜಲನಯನ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ 30% ಇದೆ. 1776 ಮಳೆಯ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ. ಅದೇ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಸೈಡ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ 65% ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, 4800 ಮಳೆಯ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಕಾಡಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತು ಮಳೆಗೂ ಇರುವ ಸಂಬಂಧ ತಿಳಿದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಮಳೆ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸ ಮಳೆ ನೀರು ನಿಮಗೆ ಜರಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ನದಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದ ಶೈಲಿ ಅವಲಂಬಿತ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಹೈಡ್ರಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ 36 ತಿಂಗಳುಗಳು. ಏನೂ ಇದಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೂತ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಮೃದ್ಧವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೋ ನೀವು ಅಷ್ಟು ದಪ್ಪಾಗಿರ್ತೀರ. ಅದು ಬರ್ಡ್ ಆದಾಗಲೇ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಂಡೆ ಬಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗತ್ತಲ್ವ. ಶಿವಮೊಗ್ಗ ಅಥವಾ ಉತ್ತರ ಕನ್ನಡ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯವರಾದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. No, he understood. It is not a reverse, okay? So now,
No, we didn't understand what he said.
You didn't understand. Or his question or what I am saying? He thought that I did a mistake. If the forest is less, rainfall also should be high. See what happens. This is, sir, are you civil engineer?
Oh, he's environment.
You are environment. Because the civil engineers read the literatures of the West. You know, they thought that, okay, if the trees are there, the water will be less. You know, that's what, all those big books talk about it. That's where our civil engineer, when they join irrigation department, first thing is they chop the trees. When they construct the reservoir, they say that if the trees are there only, we will not have water. So probably I thought that also you are thinking, that's where but that's not so. Now, I was talking about how long water is available besides the thing. Now, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 36 ತಿಂಗಳು ಹೈಡ್ರಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅಂದರೆ ಮಳೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ನೀರು ಆ ಭೂಮಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಅಳವಡಿಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಈಗ ಮಳೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಮಳೆ ನೀರು ಇಫ್ ದ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಳೆ ನೀರು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದೇ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು, ಮತ್ತು ನಡುತೊಪ್ಪುಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏಕಸಸ್ಯ ನಡುತೊಪ್ಪುಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ನೀರು ಹರಿಯುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೇಟಿವ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ನೇಟಿವ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆಯೋ
ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನೇಟಿವ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿವಿಧತೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, ಜೀವ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯತೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀವ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯತೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಜೀವ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯತೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ತುಂಬ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಪೋರಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಯಬಲ್ and bulk density becomes lower. When soil becomes porous, when it rains, water gets percolated, it fills the zone, which is a groundwater zone. Then after filling that, it fills the water zone. Then only you will see water flowing the river. That means for the 4 months you have water because of the rain, but you have deposited enough water in the underlying layer. Now, what is the benefit of underlying layer depositing? Say, after monsoon of 4 months, the water that is stored here comes to the river or stream for 4 months. Okay? Our data shows that. Then during summer, the water that is stored here will come to river or stream. We call it as a base flow, while this is known as a subsurface flow. Now 12 months water is because 8 months you get it because what is stored here. It is something like this. When you are working, you have got sufficient money in your bank. The post-retirement, you will not be at the mercy of your children. Because today's children don't even know whether they have to take care of the parent or whether it is their obligation. That's why the Vruddhashrams are increasing in Bangalore. Suppose if you are not saved, like a monoculture plantation, you have kept some money but not to the thing. Then only 8 months water is available. 4 months because of rain, 4 months because of the water stored here. That is because monoculture plantation, the leaves are thick. They take time to degrade. So when they form a thick layer, it does not allow the water to percolate in the same way as the natural tree. Natural trees in a few minutes they break up. The microorganism will break it and the water will start percolating. So that is the result. When you convert it to urban area, nothing goes inside. Like urbanites in Bangalore. You go and talk to them anything. When you give a talk, they will be running outside with a mobile in their hand. Here I didn't see people running like that. One person out of 10 will be running towards the door. That's why when I accept invite in some of the IT company, I say the condition is keep the mobile outside when I am inside. So then my talk becomes quite effective to them. So now we understood the mechanism, how the water is 12 months. Now, let us see where all the water is 12 months. See, in some catchment, we saw the water, we graded it as ABCD. A are the stream which has water for 12 months, B are the one 8 months, C are the one 6 months, D are 4 months. That means only during monsoon. Now, when you look at A-type stream, the A-stream type stream occurs when the forest cover is more than 60%. In ಜಲಾನಯನ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ 60% ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ 12 ತಿಂಗಳು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜರಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಡತೋಪಾಗಿದೆಯೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 8ರಿಂದ 6 ತಿಂಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ನೀರುಗಳಿದ್ದಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತ ಬಂದು ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕಾಡನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತೆಗೆದು ರಬ್ಬರ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತ. ಅವ್ನು ಮಾಡೋ ಅನಾಹುತದಿಂದ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಇರೋ ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ 4ರಿಂದ 6 ತಿಂಗಳು ನೀರೇ ಸಿಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೂ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕಾಡನ್ನು 30%ಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಜಲಾನಯನ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನ ನೀರಿಗಾಗಿ ಒದ್ದಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೈಪ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ, ಎತ್ತಿನ ಹೊಳೆ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, now to summarize what I said so far, you see that amount of water that gets infiltrated is about 50 to 60%. I can challenge anybody on the earth about my experiment. I have disproved all the Western researcher theories. So if you look at the thing, for the first time I came out with the thing, and some of the experts in India didn't want to accept this. In fact, in one of the open forums they called me, I'm a mad scientist. I said, yes, I'm mad about science, but not people like you, without knowing that thing you are mad. So that's the problem in the both of the system. That is when I quantify the 60% gets infiltrated. That 60% of water I have for the post-monsoon. Okay. Now I also looked at what is the water required by the society. People require water for agriculture, horticulture, drinking, etc. Each of that we quantify. You see, in this region where forests are there, demand for water is also higher, but there is a surplus water is there. The available water is higher than the demand. Whereas in this region, where forests are not there, where forests are degraded, demand is there, but not comparable to there, but you see that there is a scarcity of water. Now tell me, if the country has to develop, what is to be done? Should you remove the forest? See, now another interesting thing. This is the region where 12 months water is there. This is 8 months, this is 6 months, depending on the perforation of, the inclusion of monoculture plantation in the region. And this is 4 months, the blue line. And when you overlay the forest cover, vegetation cover, wherever forests are native and they are contiguous, you have 12 months water. Wherever forests are fragmented, depending on level of fragmentation, you have 8 to 6 months of water. Wherever forests are they degraded, less than 30%, you have water for only 4 months. Now you want to see how it reflects the livelihood of the people. Take example of farmers in the region. ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವ ರೈತರು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕರೆಗೆ 1,54,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿಯಷ್ಟು ಆದಾಯ ಅವರಿಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಆದಾಯ ಖರ್ಚು ಕಳೆದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ರೈತರಿಗೆ 32,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಒಂದು ಎಕರೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ. ಯಾಕದು ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 12 ತಿಂಗಳು ನೀರು ಸಿಕ್ಕೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ರೈತರು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಬೆಳಿಬೋದು, ವಿಧವಾದ ಇದು ಸೀಸನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಿಬೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ಇದು ಶುಗರ್ ಕೇನ್ ಕಬ್ಬು ಅದನ್ನು ಬೆಳಿಬೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋರಿಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ಸೀಸನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಸಿಕ್ಕೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ಕ್ರಾಪ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ 32,000 ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ 1,54,000. ಎರಡನೇದು, ಈ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಲಿನೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಪರಾಗಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಮಾಡೋ ಕ್ರಿಮಿಗಳು ಡೈವರ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಬಂಡೆಂಟ್, ವಿಧವಾದ ಪರಾಗಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಕ್ರಿಮಿಗಳಿವೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ದುಂಬಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಚಿಟ್ಟೆಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಇದೆ. ಅದೇ ಈ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ. ಪರಾಗಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಕ್ರಿಮಿಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಪರಾಗಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪರಾಗಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಆದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಈಲ್ಡ್ ಬಹಳ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಎಕರೆಗೆ ಭತ್ತ 12ರಿಂದ 14 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಾಲ್ ಒಂದು ಎಕರೆಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ 6ರಿಂದ 8 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಾಲ್ ಇದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅವರು ದ್ವಿಗುಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್. ಇದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ನಾನು ಬರ್ದಿರೋದು ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ, ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ 6,000 ಕೊಡಬೇಡಿ, 8,000 ಕೊಡಬೇಡಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ರೈತರಿಗೂ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ ನೀರು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ರೈತರು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಯಾವುದೇ ದುಡ್ಡುಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಇಲ್ಲ, 8,000 ಏನಕ್ಕೂ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಹತ್ರವಾದ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಿವಿಲಿ ಹೇಳಿ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ಇದು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಓದಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ರಾಜಕಾರಣಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು ಈಗ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯತೆ, ಜೀವ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯತೆ, ಬಯೋಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಏನು ಅದು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ, ಈ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಡಾಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಸ್ಲಾತ್ ಬೇರ್, ಟೈಗರ್, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು 12 ತಿಂಗಳು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೋ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಸಮೃದ್ಧವಾಗಿದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಅದು 2 ಕಾಲಿನ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು, ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಜೀವ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯತೆಯಿಂದ ಏನು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನೀವು ಹತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಈ 2 ಮೀನಿನ ತಳಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. As a new species, we gave a name. Chistura nowadays, Chistura sharpiensis. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಯಾರೂ ಅದನ್ನು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸುನೀಲ್ ನಾಯ್ಕನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಹಾಗೆ ನೇಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರೋದು, ನಾಮಕರಣ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮೋರ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಲಿ, ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. For respiratory diseases it is used. When I came to know that it can be used for the respiratory disease, I also became ambitious. I said, let me become a billionaire. I took it to Bangalore, I cultured it. But none of them had any medicinal properties. The message here is, if you want medicine, you have to grow it in his home, not bring it to Bangalore and this one. That is the so. And for the fish to survive, water has to be there 12 months. For water to be there 12 months, surrounding watershed area should have native species, the trees. That shows the link between the terrestrial, ಕಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿರೋದು ಮತ್ತು ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಜೀವ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯತೆಗಿರೋ ಒಂದು ಲಿಂಕ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಂತರ ತಮ್ಗೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕಪ್ಪೆಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಸ್, ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ದಮ್ ಆಸ್ ಆಂಫಿಬಿಯನ್ಸ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅದು ಲೈಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ 2 ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು ಜುವಿನೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್, ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ, ದ ಟ್ಯಾಡ್ಪೋಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್, ಮೀನು ಥರ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದೇ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಇದು ಎರಡು ಇದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಲೈಫ್ ಸೈಕಲಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ದಮ್ ಆಂಫಿಬಿಯನ್ ಆರ್ ಡ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಈಗ ನೀರಿದ್ದವ್ರು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟ್ಯಾಡ್ಪೋಲ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಸರ್ವೈವ್. ಟ್ಯಾಡ್ಪೋಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕಪ್ಪೆನೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಕಪ್ಪೆದು ನನಗೆ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಎಕಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟರ್, ವಿ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಲೂಸ್ ದೆಮ್. ಸೊ ನಾವು we saw one species of frog, Pilatus leucorinus, it bypasses tadpole stage. ಆ tadpole ಇದ್ರೂ ತಾನೇ ಈ ತಲೆನೋ ನೀರು ಇರಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಬೇಡ. So now see, after fertilization of the egg, we saw the younger ones emerging out. So this is very important from evolution point of view and also adaptation point of view. You know, I said global warming is happening. ಜಾಗತಿಕ ತಾಪಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಏರ್ಪೇರುಗಳು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನೀರು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ನೀರು ಸಿಗದೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವು ಯಾರೂ ಬದುಕಲ್ಲ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗಿವ್. ಇಫ್ ಎನಿವನ್ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ ಮಿ, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್. ಅಟ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್, ಓಕೆ, ಇಫ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ವಾಟರ್. ಬಟ್ only these organisms survive. That's what we need to understand. That is what the science tells us. We need to respect science if you want to lead a happy life. If you don't do it, then we will pay the heavy price, okay? Okay, now, you know, that is where our elders identified the linkage between the forest and the water. They said that they knew that next generation is going to be responsible. That's why they started thinking about conserving the patch of forest, which are hydrologically important. Those patch of forests are known as Devarakadu or the Kavu or the sacred groves. You know, if you look at Lord Shiva, he said something similar to my students let us. Ganga comes from there, no? You know, he represents the earth. The hair represents the forest. As long as that forest is there, the water is there. See, ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಭೂತಾಯಿಗೆ ಹಸಿರು ಹೊದಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಳೀಯ ಪ್ರಭೇದಗಳ ಹಸಿರು ಹೊದಿಕೆ ಇರುತ್ತೋ, ಆ ಭೂತಾಯಿ ನೀರು ಹಿಡಿದಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 12 ತಿಂಗಳು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನೀರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ಭೂತಾಯಿಗೆ ಆ ಹಸಿರು ಹೊದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಥಳೀಯ ಪ್ರಭೇದ ಇದಾಗ ಹಸಿರನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ನಡತೋಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವೋ, ರಬ್ಬರು ಅಥವಾ ಅಕೇಶಿ ಆ ಥರ ಸಿಂಥೆಟಿಕ್ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವೋ, ಆಗ ನಮಗೆ 6 ರಿಂದ 8 ತಿಂಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ನೀರು ಸಿಕ್ಕುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಭೂತಾಯಿ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಡಿಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವೋ, ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು 30% ಮಾಡ್ತೀವೋ, ನೀರು ಮಳೆಗಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ಇದು ಈಗ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಆಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ತಲೆಗೆ ಏನು ಬರೋದು, ಒಂದು ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನ ಕಟ್ಟೋಣ. See, we don't think that God resides in the forest, he is happy. He or she is happy in the forest. Seeing Durga in the forest is much pleasant than going to the concretized Durga temple. You know, now slowly that the forests are giving way for all these kind of idols, and slowly they are getting converted into the resort. Even Kukke Subramania, if you go behind Kukke Subramania, you will see a good forest. Is a good example. Or any Durga temple you go, Khatil, Kollur, all this has a native forest. Seeing that only that people introduce that concept of the sacred forest and sacred water, etc. Hoping that we Indians don't miss that link. However we can become, but still our roots will try to keep it intact. But what happened to Indians of today are our brains have become colonial. You know, colonial rulers came to India, they killed our tradition because they knew that if the tradition is killed, they can loot. But when they left our country, they left bureaucrats here. They should have taken them also there. You know, those bureaucrats, the colonial mindset bureaucrats who are sitting in Vidhan Sauda, Vikas Sauda and such places, their mind is only to loot the resources. You know, they come up with a project where there is no water, they will still come with a pipe project. One example is Ethylene Holding. You know, they said that 24 TMC of water is there. When I studied, only 12.85 TMC is there. Out of 12.85 TMC, 9 TMC is required for the local people for their the livelihood, etc. And then another 3 TMC required for fish. If I deduct, only 0.85 TMC is the available to transport. Kolar people understood that, but politicians didn't understand that. For almost the 3 months, there was a discussion in the assembly about ethanol. The topic of the discussion is not water, giving water. Why TVRAMACHANDRA is doing this kind of studies? Why he is allowed to do the studies, okay? And those fellows, if they are attacked, they will get Z category. But for a scientist, there is no shield of Z category. But for their bad luck, wherever I go, people provide a security. Thrice I was attacked, but still they could eliminate me. That is where, even when Santosh Hegde and myself visited some place, I was attacked by these goons. Only the thing is, I identified those projects, you know, lot of fight. And all these fellows who are pushing the project, their son-in-laws and son are 5 fellows. They have the contract of that. That is where the agenda is, which I figured it out and I said that this. Then in one of the public meetings, Kolar people had invited me. One of the farmers asked me, sir, you are objecting to the project. Now these people are implementing the project. Earlier they said 13,000 crore, now 25,000 crore. So are you happy with that? I looked at him. I told him, you are all so lucky people. You are more happy. I said, even if you don't get water, in my western Ghats, I produce oxygen, ಆಮ್ಲಜನಕ. ಈ ಪೈಪ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಅದು ಹರಿದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಗಂಟೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿ, ಈಗ ಆಮ್ಲಜನಕ ಅಂತ ಸಿಕ್ಕುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ವರಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕೋಲಾರ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಟ್ರೀಸ್. ಸೊ ಆಮ್ಲಜನಕ ಕೊರತೆ ಇದೆ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಅದೊಂದು ಇದನ್ನ ಕೊರತೆ ನಾವು ನೀಗಿಸಿದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರದವರು ಅಷ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 25,000 ಕೋಟಿ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. When a person joins the government, his motto should have been the service to the society. But when the person joins the government, because he himself would have paid 25 lakh or 50 lakh, and then he thinks about how to recover that. That's where all these problems is the root cause of the mismanagement of natural resources goes back to bring the sensible youth into the system so that you will see changes happening in the system. Okay? Okay, now let us, if you don't want to believe what I am saying, let us look at the history. The Easter Island is a famous example. The people thought that land is available. They went on expanding the land. Assemblies, this kind of thing happens. I didn't know that. I am taking class in assembly, which I had done, but none of them moved out of the hall. The Easter Island, they thought that land is available. They went on expanding but finally they have to vacate that land because there was no water. See, that means water decides everyone's fate. Okay? Then, next is, if you practice proper livelihood at your home, probably you are also helping in the conservation. What is this? You eat right food, don't eat junk food. See, for example, millets and the pulses. Of course, this region is known for that. When you take pulses, what are the benefits of the pulses? I have listed here. It helps in the weight management. For people who are obese, they can see that. If they start eating pulses and reduce the carbohydrate intake, rice, etc., naturally their weight comes down. Lipid accumulation in the body comes down. If they have to work in a company, their brain has to function, pulses will help. Vitamins and minerals, it's a source of, the helps in digestion and they boost the metabolism, reduces the risk of cancer and also control diabetes and low blood pressure. You might ask, what is the proof? One of my colleagues, when he was the head of the institution, he had all those occupational problems. Sometimes I wonder why people fight to become the head of the particular thing to get all those occupational hazards. But after retirement, you look at his food plate. He has 5 varieties of vegetable, 5 varieties of fruit, and a bowl of pulses. Pulses give the stability, while those diversity of fruit and vegetable, each of 50 to 100 grams, not 1 kg, gives the health. When your food plate is diverse, you are more healthy. When your food plate is not diverse, you are unhealthy. That is what you need to understand. The people eating only rice and rasam will never be healthy. People eating rice with varieties of sambars and all those curries and all, probably they are more healthy. That's another message one need to understand. So, now let us see what is the benefit of this. See, when you start eating pulses, I need to grow more pulses. Okay? For 1 kg of pulse, you need about 200 liters of water. Okay? To grow a kg of rice or wheat, you need 3000 to 5000 liters of water. And to grow a sugar, you need 12,000 liters of water. And also, more importantly, when you grow pulses, human-wildlife conflict will not be there because wildlife don't like this pulse plant. So you have addressed another problem in a village where wildlife comes. You should incentivize the farmers to grow the millets and the pulses. Then you will not have the wildlife conflict. But unfortunately, what is our generation? Compensation. They grow sugarcane, they invite the elephants, then they grumble and ask for the compensation. So, and of course now we are in a free world. Everything is free in Karnataka. Very unfortunate thing. At least I hope educated section will say that we don't want the so-called that free thing. So, but I am waiting to see how many sensible human beings are there. But it happened. It's not that my country is not that bad. Okay, when Prime Minister asked to give it up, the subsidy for the gas, LPG, most of the people gave it. Only some I saw about 3 or 4% would be like that. Okay, who are greedy. You can't change them anyway. When person is too greedy, what will happen? His deathbed, he requires a lot of doctors to take care. That is what happens. That is what, I am not talking philosophy, but I have seen that people who are greedy are so notorious. That is where they end up doing the, okay? See, when you have this kind of environment, you have healthy planet. In fact, yesterday evening when I met Sunil Naik, he told me we are meeting after a couple of years, but you look the same. I told him, I am in the forest. Only once in a while I come out of the forest. When I am in the forest, my health has to be alright. Today morning, the Anjanadri, myself, my student, we climbed, we came back in 1 hour. I don't know how many can do it at my age. I doubt very much. Okay, now let me take you to the district where I worked for almost 2.5 decades. I try to summarize some of the important things. What is happening? See, this district has a distinction of having highest forest cover in the country. Uttara Kannada in Karnataka had the distinction of having highest forest cover, and the district is full of rivers and streams. But today, you see what is happening. I will not get into the methods of this analysis. I will skip that. You see the forest, how it is changing. The 67% evergreen forest today is 29%. So much degradation has happened. This is supposed to be a reserve forest area. The sanctuaries are there. Even then the degradation has happened. That means our forest fellows, what are they doing? Sitting in the air-conditioned room, some teak hugaya has happened. When you go to their home, wall, floor, everything is teak only. Not Hindi word teak, English word teak. Okay? Now, let us see what changes have happened. This is between two time periods, 1973 to the current period. 1973, entire district is green. Then you see that how remote sensing helps. 79, you see the opening of forest happens here. These green are the one we lost it. The pink are the one are there at that time. Okay? Then 89, 99, 2010, 2013, 2016. You see that degradation. Which year? Why we lost the forest? We know. When we constructed dam, we lost the forest. Here the dam. Here the tea plantation came, that's where we lost the forest. Like that we know that kind of assessment you can do. Okay? So now, when the forests are one end, we are losing the forest. Other end is a fragmentation. You know, somebody comes, occupies a patch of forest. When you go there first year, 5 acres. But if nobody notices, that 5 acres become 30 acres or 300 acres. It is like, you know, sometimes I keep, don't mistake me when I make some comments. It is like the men, you know, if you look at, they have the hair only in the border, not here. All this, the thieves would have stolen the thing. The same thing would have happened to the humans also. When they start worrying too much, no? When the resource is lost, naturally the hair will go. That is the thing. So now this is called fragmentation. You know, you might ask, what is the use of this talk to me? You know, the animal here, for it, the entire region is territory. When it passes through this region, it will eat this crop. That is when human-animal conflict happens. When human-animal conflict happens, what will the farmers do? He will start shooting the animals. Now, animals start sensing the danger. When people start shooting, they start residing in a smaller pocket. You know, it's like a family within a village. And they breed among themselves cousins. So there is no exchange of gene. Earlier, the animal here would have exchanged the gene with the animal here. You know, somebody from Kerala marrying somebody from Kashmir. That is the most viable population. But not just in Kerala, one village, within that one lane, they are breeding among themselves. So that's where the population becomes a weak population that it becomes extinct. That is how, that's where we need to identify the region, territory of our animal and then conserve that. Okay? We did that mapping of there's a fragmentation. Okay, there's a metric. This gives the how fragmented. You know, green, how it gave to the no forest or fragmented patch. Okay? Now, who all are they converted? We did the mapping. You know, one of my students sat and did the mapping. I gave this report. I see everybody is the district are culprits. You know, they have encroached the forest. That means forest department also is a hand in that. Okay? So let us not blame only the people. So now this is the area where the unsheathed Dandeli tiger reserve is there. There I don't see any encroachment. That's where ecologically sensitive region has to be protected. In a country like ours, we need to have the protection. Otherwise, it is free for all. That's what we noticed here. You know, when we gave this report to the Supreme Court, what did Supreme Court ask the government? Evict all these people. They gave the deadline. Then only the government understood the implication of the science. Okay? Okay, now when we give the project, you know, we should keep in mind what is the likelihood. See, when you allot a project, you might say 700 acres, only small patch of land I am giving. But because of that, they said what happened, for example, if you look at Dandeli paper mill, you know, land was given on this small patch. But because of the industry, the, you know, chai shop came, cycle shop came, then it formed a township. You know, we should have visualized this scenario in the forest area before allotting that. We didn't do that. That's how science will help in visualizing what is likely to happen. Okay? Okay, now GDP of last week, I think this week only, everyone was thrilled 7.2% GDP has gone up. But that GDP is of no use because that is manipulated thing. They do not account the degradation cost. Say, for example, if you take the GDP of Uttarakhand, 5,978 crores. When I do the quantification, I am getting 9,000 crores per year. But how much they have accounted for the forest? They have accounted 180 crores. That is what fuel wood. That too they didn't go to the field. When I asked what is this 180 crores, then I had a meeting with the DC of the district. He said, sir, this is a very important thing. I will try to sort out this issue. Let us meet once again. But I noticed that within a week he was transferred. I don't know whether government came to know that I have met him. So sometimes it happens, okay? So now this is the kind of the services, okay? Now I will skip some of the slides, okay? Bangalore. In fact, when I was in Mr. Narayan's office, there was a gentleman who was keen to come to Bangalore. I was wondering why he wanted to come to Bangalore. See, the Bangalore, which was 68% green cover in 73, today it's 81% is concretized. For any region to be livable, 33% should be green cover. That's where, when you have green cover, I'm sure you all are breathing, I'm sure. Is there anyone who is not breathing? See, when you are all breathing, you need oxygen. I'm sure you all know that oxygen is required for breathing. Okay? Now, that's where we arrived at 33%. That means, depending on population, that is the forest cover in a region. That is the carrying capacity of region. But now, if you look at Bangalore, 81% concretized. So now, if you see 1973, 68% green cover. It's called Garden City. 92, Peenya Kormangla industrialization started happening. There is a changes happening. Okay? Then, Kirloskar Electric also was there at that time. Then 2000, ITPT sectors came. Okay? And of course, I was told Kirloskar Electric ran away from that region, giving way for the multinational companies. Okay? Then 2006, further intensification, 2009, and then that 2021, you see that region is 85%. Can you imagine in Bangalore, some of the elders use oxygen cylinder? That is the tragic situation. Water scarcity is another thing. The gentleman who was planning to come to Bangalore, he might get money in the industry, 50% hike. But if there is no water, the wife has to stand in front of the tap in the mid of the night. I don't know why BWSSB pump the water only at 2 o'clock in the night. And you will hear a large quarrel for the collecting a bucket full of water. The water scarcity in the city. And if this trend continues, 2025, 98% would be choked. So that's where I said enough is enough. We need to decongest the city. Okay? Now 22, see the 85%. Okay? So this is number of trees in the city. Again, using remote sensing data and fieldwork, we quantify 1.5 million trees are there in Bangalore for 9.5 million population. That means for every 7% there is one tree. You might ask, how many trees each person requires? My simple thing is, when we breathe, because we are all breathing, we give out carbon dioxide to an extent of 540 to 980 grams per person per day. And 1 hectare of tree takes away carbon to 6 to 9 tons per year. By that ratio, for every person, 7 trees are required or 8 trees are required. But what we have in Bangalore is a reverse situation. But this is nothing new. Science didn't invent this. When I look at the literature, scriptures talk about it. The Bible mentions about the importance of natural ecosystem at least 320 times. If you look at Quran warns us of imminent war if you pollute the water. And if you look at our scriptures, Masya Purana, it brings out the linkage between the water, children and trees. If you have well at home, you are wealthy. 10 wells are equal to 1 lake, 10 lakes are equal to 1 reservoir, 10 reservoirs are equal to 1 children, 10 children are equal to 1 tree. And benefit of having 10 children you can have by planting and nurturing a tree. I'll put it other way. The people who cut the tree, they are murdering their own 10 children. See, that's the way the message is given to the people. Okay? In fact, when I write this, I cite this kind of thing. I've seen some transformation happening in the system. One of the forest officers came to my office. He was crying. I asked, what is the reason for you to cry? Is my office so problematic for you? He pulled out a paper from his bag. He put it on my table. He said, because of you I am crying. I became more curious. At the same time I am happy. If the Babu is crying in my office, that's a good sign. So that means the message has reached. I asked him, sir, what happened? He said, road widening is happening. Jai Mahal, that road, 179 trees are to be removed. If I remove 179, you will write article tomorrow saying, I have murdered 1790 children. If I don't remove it, the government will sack me. My family will go to the road. You tell me what is to be done. I told him it's simple thing. Why are you so agitated? let us identify a region and do the planting of 300 saplings and do the transplantation. He started. The moment he initiated, he gave a publicity. Immediately all the social media fellows, they started appreciating. We felt that, okay, job is done. That's how you can solve the problem. Okay? So now, losing the water body and the thing, what happened to the Bangaloreans? 19 degrees in 90s became 21 degrees in 2000 or 27 degrees in 2010. Now today 37 to 40. One biggest achievement of Bangalorean is increasing the temperature, doubling the temperature. And to understand that, how this ecosystem helped, we did the temperature profile from the center of the city, we moved in 8 directions. You see, wherever water bodies are there and parks are there, temperature is 2 degrees lower. That means these parks and water body acts as heat sink. That's where you see my campus, temperature 2 degrees lower, because we have a good green cover. Okay? Now the lakes of Bangalore, if you look at the frothing lake and the fire has become a, I don't know, some people think that, science says that don't pollute the lake if you want to prevent the thing. But what Babu's did, put a barricade so that froth doesn't come to the road. I hope you understood. The froth was coming to the road, Noregal Bartaito. What Babus of Bangalore did was they put one barricade. They claimed that they solved the problem. I wrote an article saying it is ad hoc, it's not going to solve the problem. And of course the BDA chief said, as usual you are criticizing, I am used to that. Then I said, your success is only 4 days, you watch out. As I predicted, on 5th day the froth crossed over. Still the froth problem is there. Now the government is taking initiative, we are rejuvenating it, then things will change there. The frothing has stopped now. Okay? Now you might ask how this affects us. For example, the water in the lake, when it's polluted, it is covered with a macrophyte like this. When the macrophyte is there, sunlight won't penetrate. When the sunlight is not there, that algae won't grow. Algae means patchy. Since algae is not there, zooplankton is not there and fish is not there. That means you lose the native species of the fish. That's how the livelihood of the people is affected. Okay? Then people in the vicinity use this water for growing the vegetable like pudina, harve soppu, matte carrot, ಮೂಲಂಗಿ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳೀತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೀನು, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮೀನುಗಳು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದನ್ನ ಜನ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. See, as a researcher, my job is to check whether it has contaminated. Because the source is from the lake which is contaminated. When I analyze that, all this had heavy metal. See, ಭಾರಿ ಲೋಹದ ಅಂಶಗಳು ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಹಾರ ಪದಾರ್ಥಗಳು ಕಂಡು ಬಂತು. ಭಾರಿ ಲೋಹದ ಅಂಶಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಆಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ತೊಂದರೆಗಳೇನು? ಒಂದು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್, ಎರಡನೇದು ಕಿಡ್ನಿ ಫೇಲ್ಯೂರ್. The kidney failure, which was 1 in 1,12 years back, today it's 1 in 5,000. You might say, sir, 1 in 5,000 is a better number than 1 in 1 time. When you talk about health, you should not be looking like that, okay? And today, the younger generation is affected. I have the environment education program where the schools are involved. When I went to one of the government school in Vattur, 8th standard boy had a kidney failure. Then adjacent school, KK English High School, LKG girl child had 1 kidney fail, and 8th standard another girl child, both the kidneys have lost. The teacher wanted to take me to the next class. I said, please stop. I don't want to see this pathetic situation. Then after a year I visited same school. I asked the teacher, where is that girl, 8th standard kid who had lost both the kidneys? She said, sadly she is no more. That means we are losing the youth. Youth are the asset of the nation. Healthy youth are the asset of the nation. But what are we doing because of our irresponsible action? We are polluting and contaminating our food and we are killing our children. That is the tragedy. That is what we have to understand that. Okay? Now we are rejuvenating the lake. Another 5 minutes, I will wind up. When you have to rejuvenate the lake, one of the important things you should do is research. ಹೂಳು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಗ್ರಹ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾಗಾದಾಗ ನೀರಿನ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಹೂಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದಾಗ ನೀರು ಅಂತರ್ಜಲ ವೃದ್ಧಿ ಆಗೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಡು ಬಂದಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸದಿಂದ. ಆ ಹೂಳು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. 11 ಮಿಲಿಯನ್ ಟನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಹೂಳಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಬರ್ಡನ್ನು, ಅದನ್ನು ಹ್ಯಾಕ್ ತೆಗೆಯೋದು, ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳೋದು. ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಹೂಳನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ 1500 ಕೋಟಿ. The media took my study. IISC study finds that the silt in Belandur worth is equivalent to 1500 crores. Then I looked at the nutrient content in the silt in terms of NPK. See, it has N equivalent to fertilize the soil in the Punjab. Okay, it has P, you can fertilize the soil in the Uttar Pradesh. And if you look at potash, you can fertilize soil in Telangana. And I said that economic value of that equivalent to the fertilizer is 15,000 crore. Then everybody started showing the interest. So then what I did is, I had a meeting with the local farmers. I requested them, the Vattur downstream, I analyzed the Vattur silt. There was no heavy metal. Because Belandur acts as the upstream lake, acts as a wetland, it was removing all the pollutants. I convinced the farmers to take the thing. 400 acres we gave the silt. Then I am in the committee. When I visit that place, I make sure I also visit these people, whether they are upset with my suggestion or this one. Because the scientists, both are good for him. You know, both news are good, bad are good. So when I visited, I got the royal treatment. You know, the farmers have got a bumper crop per acre. Each farmer says that he got additional 1.5 lakh. You know, they were getting 30 to 40,000 earlier. Because of the silt, since they didn't buy the fertilizer. Second thing, yield of the crop went up. They had 1.5 lakh additional benefit. Now there is a competition among the farmers asking for more and more silt. See, my job is done. Earlier, all the cynic in Bangalore, they said, oh, TVR has talked about silt removal. It is going to choke the Bangalore. In fact, if you do the Google search, you will see this kind of comment and criticize about me. But when I wrote the article saying that how it has given the life to the farmers there, and I see a smile on their face, now where are those critics? They are not there. Okay? Well, now I am in the concluding part. You might have heard me. I did sign, I criticized the system, but I also saw the problem. I have the satisfaction that I have done something which society has done. Now let us see what are the things I would have done during my 2.5 decades. You know, one of the things wastewater treatment. Probably this is the model you also have to think about. You know, when you think about wastewater that is generated at your home or industry, it has 3 levels of treatment. Primary, secondary, tertiary. Primary treatment will remove the large particle. Secondary treatment will remove the chemical ion. Tertiary treatment will remove the nutrient. Now when you take simple example of your sewage generated at home, it has chemical ion and also it has nutrient. Chemical ion because we all eat protein, N gets in, Sarajanaka. Then we wash cloth with detergent, P gets in. And that is where the nutrient gets in. And we wash the cloth, that is where chemical ions also gets in. Now when the government, see, I will give an example of Jakkur Lake. Way back in 2005, my study showed Jakkur Lake and surrounding there are 25 borewells were there. All of them had nitrate. You know, nitrate, if you look at the chemical, is a carcinogen. That means it has a tendency to introduce cancer. Then I convinced the government to rejuvenate the lake. We rejuvenate the lake. I was in the committee. The government said that the funds available is X. We can have only secondary treatment plant. That means government proposal will remove only chemical ion and large particle. It will not remove the nutrient. That means the problem of nutrient still remains there. Nitrate problem still be there. So then what I did, I integrated constructed wetland with algal pond. This is the nature-based solution. Way back in 2010. And today, last 10 years, my students have monitored the region. The Jakkur Lake and surrounding there are 300 wells are there. None of them have nitrate. You know, I have satisfaction of giving 300 well users the clean water. What else the science has to do? See, that is something, that is where you will get the satisfaction. And the report what I prepared is available online also. And I said, this is the model, you have to take it to the larger scale. So that let us treat everybody's sewage, what we generate, in a decentralized way. Let us not send it to some other region and pollute it. Okay? Now, what else did we do? Create the water bodies. I created a water body in my own campus, which stores 10 lakh liters of water. This has become a lab for my students. They work on biofilm. Not only my students are happy, I also have water. At one end I am saying Bangalore is dying. Another end I say, no, see, I have a life also in Bangalore. Provided if you have the islands of happiness, okay, then, this otter is a voracious eater of fish. I don't go and feed them. Then we are curious to know how this otter is surviving. When we did the biodiversity mapping, we found that there is already algae, zooplankton and fish. That means nature does the providing the food, create the food chain. I just did the facilitating, the mechanism I did that. You know what I did? I just stored 10 lakh liters of water. The 10 lakh liters is a message for you all. I stay on the campus. I require 500 liters per day. That means per year I need about 1 to 1.5 lakh liters per year. I am putting back 10 times that. If every citizen on the earth does this, there won't be a scarcity of resources. But we are all looters. We just take. There is no giving back in us. That is the problem of our society. That is to change. Now, sometimes when you do this kind of work, you also get publicity. That's what happened when this gentleman, who is from Moodbidar, sent. I was in Mangalore. I was giving lectures in St. Aloysius and Mangalore University. Because the media carried my travel plan, he came to know that I am in Mangalore. He fixed up an appointment with me. I said, okay, I don't mind coming to Bangalore, Moodbidar, which is only 45 kilometers. I will come, provided if you are ready to listen to me at 9 o'clock. Because till 7 I am occupied. Believe it or not, Saint waited for me. 9 o'clock he listened to me for 1 hour. At that time he told me, I have 12 acres of land. Then I told my students, come, let us go and do the analysis and give him a proposal. We carry our tools like topography measurement, etc. Rain also. My students are very brave. We prepared a proposal. We gave him where is the lowest point, what should be the size of the pond. Believe it or not, in 15 days he creates the water body. May I gave the thing, I told him June 5th is going to rain. If you catch rain, you have water for yourself so that you will not face the water problem. Then the second thing I told him is, Moodbidar has 32 lakes. Can you de-silt them? He said, no, I am not that powerful. I jovially told him, compared to me, you are powerful. You should be able to do. I don't have followers. I have only 10 students with me. I don't have the backing of your. I said, I requested him, at least 2 lakes you rejuvenate. He did a de-silting in 2 lakes. As I predicted, remaining 30 lakes were rejuvenated by the followers out of Shramada. Last year, there was scanty rainfall in the region. All the surrounding taluk faced the water crisis, but not this taluk. That means there are simple solutions for the water. You don't have to think of getting the water from Western Ghats to solve the water problem of your region. That is what is the thing. Then why the success? I see the youth. This man is also, this side is also young, and youth have taken part. And the CEO of that institution is also quite great. I was very happy when I met him. I said, I gave a proposal in his campus to create a water body which can store 25 lakh liters of water. And also, he did the native species planting. I visit that institution as a guest faculty every year. When I went in 2018, you see, within a year, there is a greenery, abundant water, and happiness in our place. Something very interesting you should know, how the nature keep an eye on us. This gentleman is a poor fellow, alone, unmarried. He was trying to get married. But as soon as he created a water body, he got his partner. I have seen in Bangalore people struggling to get married. There is something called a Facebook. All these faceless fellows will be hanging around there. Somehow they will get married. The next month they will be struggling to get divorced also. Now it's almost 4 years. Proud parents for 2 children. This is what the nature rewards. When we give to the nature something, what did he do? He created a water body which gives the water to all the bore wells in the surrounding area. Silently he did the job, but how he was rewarded by the nature. The message here is, don't go behind the reward. Do it silently, things will come. Okay, looking for you. Okay, now come to my campus. See, this climber, good in architecture. As a youngster, I was fascinated by that. I should have it in Bangalore, that too in my campus. What did I do? Since I was working in Western Ghats, I took that plot which had 14 seats. Out of the 14 seats, 7 I planted in 7 locations in the campus. Other 7 I have kept in the my lab. Because I am a scientist, I know what is likely to happen tomorrow. So that out of 7, only 1 survived. That is next to the building where I worked for 2 decades. That means even the plants know who will take care. Otherwise, why only that plant survived, not any other plant? I have written an article, it's available online, you can see that. If somebody questions, I have kept 7 more in my room. They can check, DNA checking they can do. So then they will be convinced. Now you look at the size of the climber. And it has covered almost 2 hectares canopy. Okay? In front of that building, I created a mini forest. In 90s when I was a student, of 2 hectare area, 49 native species, 500 saplings were planted. Today you come to that place, you get a feel of the rainforest. You see the diversity of animals there like slender lories and snakes, etc. More importantly, temperature is 2 degrees lower in front of my department. And the groundwater, which was 150 feet earlier when it was covered with Parthenium, today with the native species far ahead, I have a groundwater at 10 feet. Now if you want to solve the water problem of your village, what is to be done, you know that. This is the model to be replicated in every village, every ward in the country. There won't be the water scarcity. See, the government of India has the Jal Nal program, very ambitious and very good program, provided water is available. If water is not there, what will happen? Only Nal will make noise, Jal will not come. So for that, this is another message. You have to give it to my friend, the Prime Minister of the country, if there is somebody who is powerful. But otherwise also I know how to communicate, but if you can do it, then many more people telling always helps. Okay, now how I do the capacity building. I organize a symposium popularly known as Lake Symposium once in 2 years. This is an international event. International experts, national experts come, and my audience, if there is 800 to 1000, 25% are these students from schools and colleges. They come and listen to this international delegate, national delegate for 3 days. On the 4th day, they do their presentation. See, they get knowledge, their capacity building happens. Today, some of them have done PhD, they have gone as professors in various institutions. That's my contribution to the society. That is possible. Okay? Now, if you look at I also have the program called Know Your Ecosystem. We just like Saint go for Chaturmasa, no? I also go give a lecture to the schools and the resort. That's how we do the capacity building. And those who are in industries and universities, I offer a course on environmental management and municipal solid waste management. 20 sessions I have handled so far. The next session is during September to December. If any of you are interested, you can check the course on environment management. The capacity building will happen. Okay? So, then, see the children, how they are trained. They do the carbon mapping, then the water quality mapping. They are trained by my student, and they do the sampling. They come to the lab, analyze it. Similarly, rural area, the children do the mapping of the neighborhood. They know what is the diversity of life in the neighborhood. In each village, what kind of plants are there, what kind of animals, what is the medicinal value of that. The children, once they know the importance of the village, they never think of coming to Bangalore. Okay? Now, how I lead a life? If you look at my room, my people who built my room, they are very generous. They had given the fluorescent lamp, which is 320 watts. But I realized that I need only 20 watts. See, I have been using 20 watts. On rooftop, we have the solar panel. What is the energy required? It's already been there. There's a surplus energy. So that is the kind of life one has to live. And see, the life we live, I can afford for the vehicles, but we go in the metro or the public transport. My students, you see them on the solar power vehicle or the. See, affordability doesn't mean you can be arrogant and misuse the resources. You should also think that every time when you save some energy or water, you are also saving somebody's life. And when I organize an event, look at this kind of the, we don't have plastic or anything of that kind. You know, even the saree is converted into a nice bag. This is by Adami Chetan. You know, the organization which partners with us. Okay. So when I look at the country landscape, we have solar energy, abundant. My work of 2010 country solar program has come into existence. Now my students are working on biofuel, which is the liquid fuel. Now when I look at the country landscape, 65% are youth. We have abundant solar energy for electricity and biofuel. If I harvest all these three, I make my country the developed country and with the sustainability of resources. That's what we are looking for. And all my details are available as Sunil talked about. You see the publication and all the details are available. If you have any queries, you can write to me. And of course, we have interactive session now. So, and when you look at this on YouTube, there are variants of my talk is there. In Kannada it is there. And also 15 minutes TED talk page looks like this. All my publications, PDF version are put. Probably in the country I was the first one to put it online. You know, I digitized, I put it online. If you see that 95 I did the job. Okay. So last event 2022, we organized, day 2022. We are doing well. It means the youth are behind us. When youth are behind us, the success is always on our side. That is where you have to train the youth, make them sensible. When they are sensible and responsible, the smile is on your face. Thank you very much. Okay, I can take questions. Okay, any questions?
ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು.
Yes, there is one. Yes, sir, you can. ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದನೇ ಕೇಳಿ. ತಾವು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಹೇಳಿ.
As you said, like in 1973, 63% was green Bangalore. Now it's been 80% is being converted to concrete. Like, have you given any proposal for the government of Karnataka, like each citizen of Bangalore, how they can contribute in this, or constructing a new house, what the initiatives they need to take towards the environment protection?
See, I understood your question. One of the things, couple of things what I have given to the government of Karnataka, most of my work has gone to the government of Karnataka, okay? Because I am in various committees or this one. And sometimes I have heard even Chief Minister asking his colleague, Ramachandra or any other, the last, I told him, the worth of the forest is 1,000 billion rupees. Economic value of that, what you are destroying. And most importantly, it stores the water, because hydrological function what it does, it stores water to an extent of 100 TMC. I said, to store 65 TMC, do you want to destroy the forest of 100 TMC? Naturally, these fellows didn't want to, were not very happy, because these are the fellows who are eyeing for the timber in that region. That is rich in timber. So for my luck, what happened? The article what I wrote, Tamil Nadu government has taken it to the Supreme Court. Solution comes from anywhere. I am happy. Finally, my agenda is conservation. Whether Tamil Nadu or Kerala, they said, our man, Nammapaya. So they said that, okay, because they thought that team is Tamil Nadu. So I said, fine. I didn't reveal from where I am. That's it. So that's what happens sometimes, okay?
Sir, most of our see North Karnataka is rainfall is very less. So some part of even in Gujarat, many states in India, rainfall is very less. And trees project like connecting the rivers, you told that there is some problem because briefly tell us about it.
Sir, what is the rainfall you get? Do you know what is the rainfall you get? Huh? 500. Okay. You come to Rajasthan. Rajasthan receives the rainfall of 350, 400. When I was talking in one of the forums in Rajasthan, I talked about Sharavati. One young boy, first year engineering boy, stood up and said, "Sir, you study Rajasthan. In spite of getting 350 mm rainfall, we don't have scarcity of water because we know how to manage." Now you said your region has 500 mm rainfall. I'll give a similar analogy. Kolar, undivided Kolar, has an annual rainfall of 500 mm. When I did the hydrological investigation, it amounts to 115 TMC. How much water the local people require? 65 TMC. To catch that 115 TMC, our elders had created 4,342 water bodies in Kolar. You know, the best option for any region is the decentralized harvesting. Like I gave an example of Bangalore, 15 TMC of water, provided if you rejuvenate the lake and retain the rainwater, that is the best thing. And once in 2 years, do the desilting of the lake, your agriculture will get the nutrients. That is how you have solved the problem. So the quantity of rainfall is not the reason. It is the management that is the problem. Mismanagement. Then even 4,000 millimeter rainfall in Western Ghats, Shivamogga. Go in the month of March, April, there is no water. So quantity of rain is not the issue. But whatever the rain you get, how you manage is the issue. See, it is like this. A person is earning, let us say 6 lakh per month. But there is another person earning 50,000 a month. The families of 50,000 a month, it seems to be better compared to this 5 lakh or 6 lakh. Because this 6 lakh fellow, with all his other habits, he takes home only 20,000. And even that 20,000, because he has taken loan from 101 places, that also won't work. So that is where management is the crucial issue. So my advice is, let us follow Gandhian principle. I'm talking about Mahatma Gandhi, not the current day Gandhis, okay? Because people think that current day Gandhis are very intelligent, okay? No, one second. Mahatma Gandhi talked about Suraj, decentralized management. You know, when we do the decentralized management at village level, every village will be prosperous. Decentralized water, that is what happened before the Britishers came. We had enough water. Look at the literature, it talks about it. And today, because they killed our decentralized structures, that's where we have to depend on the government. The moment we depend on the government, we are at their mercy. That's where we are paying the price now. Can you have another question? Sir, were you there at my talk, initial part? I mentioned about the... I can repeat the question, okay. His question is about river linking. See, the linking of river, there are many problems. One is economical part. Against the gravity, you have to pump the water. There are losses associated with it. Second is an ecological disaster. The species which are there, when you connect it to the other river, they become an exotic. They become an invasive. They increase in number. That means they will kill our native species. Like water hyacinth in our water body, or the fish, some of the exotic fish. You know, we have African catfish in Bangalore. It doesn't allow any native species. So allowing them is fine. But you know, once they take over, then we will not have the hope in the system. Already we are down with the Portuguese and Britishers coming to our country. We cannot take one more risk of this.
that biological invasion is going to be disastrous. That's where we have to be careful. See, who are benefited? The people who are pushing the project. Those suitcase fellows are benefited. Like Ethinole, I gave an example of 24 TMC, no? 13,000 was a project money. In spite of knowing water doesn't come, they have made it 25,000 crore. But when I do the water available in the region, it's only 12.85 TMC. Not even 24 TMC. Then out of 12.84 TMC, 12 TMC is required for the local requirement as well as the ecological. You are left with only 0.85 TMC. I wrote an article saying, where is 24 TMC? That becomes so popular. My report and everything was questioned, and Vijay Karnataka, all this press, they went on writing article, interviewing me and the politicians. Their agenda is to, when they talk about that project, you know, those pipe and civil structure naturally will have the money. So they are interested in that. They are not worried about the thing. Now the project is almost complete. There is no water. River linking, will it give the water? Show me the success story. Then you will understand. There are no success. It only helps the babus up to date so that they can fool us and then make money. And unfortunately, we also get excited. In fact, in one of the interactive sessions with this only, one of the politicians from Karnataka asked, will Bangalore get Ganga? Then people from the thing said, no, Bangalore will not get Ganga. Then he said, no, we don't want this river. He walked out. If Bangalore gets, then he can get his share. So he was not getting share, that's where he walked out. Not ecological or economic principles. So that's where we need to understand. Okay? See, one thing what we scientists do is, whenever we take up this assignment, we are unbiased. What we want to say, we will tell. If I want to tell somebody a thief, I will tell on his face. I don't keep anything. Because I have told my family, I am going out today. If I don't come, don't worry. So when that is the attitude of a scientist, nothing can happen. Nobody will have courage to touch me. Okay, that's what. Okay.
Whatever that you are producing, the metric and metrics you are giving it at deforestation and less water and that you are. And one more thing that you have mentioned, that because of this pollution and all that, the various diseases, 5,000 and cancer cases are
GDP. One in 1 lakh, about 12 years back, and one in 5 years.
That kind of metrics, if the water, if you are losing the water, if you are losing the forest, how many deaths may happen after 20 years or 50 years or 60 years? that metric can really teach the people, sir. So if any one of your students can bring this type of metric, if the water to 24 metric empty, water is now going depreciation, and then water is not there, loss of the water. Because of loss of the water, everything, how much we lost, how many people died. That metric that your students can bring, that will enlighten the people. Not questioning anybody will not happen, because they will not see anything serious as in it. Water is water, forest is forest. Okay.
Water is water, forest is forest. If you don't have water,
No, that is what I meant.
that is
People are not able to see that when we are saying like that.
I understood your question, and I think you have answered that to some extent. For example, I will tell you. Even Ghats problem we have solved. Scientists have solved. Gokarna, there is a Koti Tirtha. Local youth wrote to me saying that there are stinking smell. Can you do something? Can you give us the thing? I went there. Myself, my student, we went there. We collected water sample. We analyzed. We found that organic pollution is high. Now we looked at what is the organic pollution that is coming up because of the practice here. The rituals and the puja material all getting into the rice balls and the puja material getting in. Then I thought about it. Can I solve this problem? I can solve any problem in this country, but not this religious practice. I cannot solve. Then what did I do? I had a meeting with a priest. I told him,
I will designate a place in Kotitirtha. I will name it as Vaikunta. Another one 25 rupees. Another place is 50 rupees, Kailas. What you have to do is, when your devotees come after performing the ritual, please allow them to do the Visarjana there. I have no problem. But you should collect 25 rupees. You should chant and collect. And when they collected, we got a revenue of 20 to 25,000 a month, which we gave it to NGO. NGO hired 3 youths. Okay? Those youth, what they do? First thing is the excess rice ball, they take it out, give it to the rice stall in Gosha. Okay? Second thing, they do the DVD. You know, excess wheat what grows in that because of the organic thing. They do the DVD. Now, last 3 years, if you have visited, you will see the pristine water there. There is no smell. You know, Lord Shiva and his son Ganesha, both are in the world. They were getting abhishek of that contaminated water. But today, they are getting clean water. What did I do? I introduced the fish which eats the rice. You know, that is there in your Sringeri. The same species we introduced. That is my ecological engineering. I did a skill in India through that NGO, Make in India through that NGO. That is one of the success programs. See, always as a scientist, I go with it, implement it, show with that example, that people get convinced. It is not just theoretical thing, and I don't just give a speech. When I say that, okay, this is what happens, and to counter that, what should be your intervention, like I gave mini forest and all, people know that. See, somebody asked me, okay, if I remove the forest, will it lose water? I said, okay, you remove the forest, we'll see in another 5 years there won't be water. That's what happened in the Dakshina Kannada district, Udupi. If you go there, I had warned them not to degrade the thing. Today there is no water. Other end, in my campus, through my mini forest and lake, I am showing the water at the 100 feet. You know, 10 feet as against 100 feet. So these are the things. That's how scientists communicate and say the thing. We say unpleasantness, but also we have given the solution also. We present that also. That's how we communicate. And that's why people listen. If there is a TED talk of mine, it is because of this intervention of wastewater treatment or water or anything successfully for the local people. Okay? Yeah. Anyone else?
Sir, we have explained about the Rajasthan. They stayed in Rajasthan for 7 years. Like one of the days for children, it is a low rainfall area. The entire that city, like the house below the basement, they have created the water storage area. So that is a very good model. So
that is what, see, even if you go to Kerala, you have Sananga. That is nothing but what Rajasthan has implemented to keep the water. They know that tomorrow is bad.
yes.
Whatever the water is there today, they make sure it is available for tomorrow. And Kerala, the same concept. They know that they are getting excess rain, but they kept it as a deposit in Sulanga. You know that Sulanga concept is very, so do Google search, you will get that. Okay?
And one more question I do have. Like in Rajasthan, only 2 areas we have the water resource with by nature. The entire the state is dependent on the government. How does we get recharge ready to go about it? Can you give a thought?
One other thing happening in Rajasthan, even I did a study in Sambar Lake. You know, when I did a study, Sambar Lake is not a freshwater lake, but it is inside this one, you know, closer to Jaipur. It's a saltwater lake, but surrounding area, the water is plenty, which is freshwater. That is where when the water, you know, the passes through the soil, you know, take away the salt. Because the desert and all, you know, the salt is removed. That salt comes to the lake as that's what people extract it and put it. Whereas the wells, they have clean water. So, and one other thing is whatever you said on average, they get about 300 to 350 millimeters, most part of the thing. And when they get it, they make sure that they are all stored appropriately. So most of the part of the thing, I go to Alva and all these places, I've seen those structures. You know, Tarun Bharat
Rajendra Singh does a very good job. Actually, what his solution? Like I have done in Bangalore, the same thing he has done. And some other part of Karnataka I have done that. What we have done here, he also done, but as a replicator of much larger scale. Yeah.
ನೀರು ಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಭಾಳ ನೀರು ಎವಾಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ
ನೀಲಗಿರಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅಕೇಶಿಯಾ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ವಿದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿಗಳು. ವಿದೇಶಿಯರು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರೋ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಈಗ ವೇರ್ ಡಿಡ್ ವಿ ಅಲೋ ದಿ ಅಕೇಶಿಯಾ ಯುಕಲಿಪ್ಟಸ್ ಇನ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಇನ್ ಆರಿಡ್ ರೀಜನ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಇವುಗಳಿಗೆ ಇರೋದು ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ರೂಟ್. ಅವು ನೀರು ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಹೋಗ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ಸಾ ದಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ರೇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೈಯರ್ ಇನ್ ನೀಲಗಿರೀಸ್. So because of that, groundwater table started depleting in Kolar. The situation becomes so serious. It led to the crisis of fluoride and that kind of contamination. When you go deeper and deeper, natural geological strata you will reach for the water. You would have got water, but that water, because of natural geological strata of fluoride and arsenic, you got that contaminated water. Once that is brought to the notice of the government, the government, Vijay Shankar, when he was the forest minister, I was the member of the Western Ghats task force. We convinced him to do the ban. Happened, when the next regime comes, reverse it, then again the same tamasha goes on. We have flip-flop reaching. Okay.
Sir, third is this government has taken up the desiltation of lakes under MG Narega scheme. Is it beneficial, sir?
ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ವರ್ತೂರು ಮತ್ತು ಬೆಳ್ಳಂದೂರು ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ತೂರು ಕೆರೆ ನೀರನ್ನ ಹೂಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದಾಗ ಎರಡು ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಜನಕ್ಕಾಗಿ. ಒಂದು, ಆ ಹೂಳಿನಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಫಲವತ್ತತೆ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡಿಂದ 1.5 ಲಕ್ಷ 1 ಎಕರೆಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ರೈತರಿಗೆ. 400 ಎಕರೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಅದು ಮಣ್ಣು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಹೂಳನ್ನು. ಅದಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು 1200 ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ವಿತಿನ್ 8 months 800 ಫೀಟ್, ಅಂದರೆ 400 ಫೀಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನೀರಿನ ಲೆವೆಲ್. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ರಿಮಾರ್ಕಬಲ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಹೂಳು ಶೇಖರಣೆ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಮಣ್ಣು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಕಾಂಕ್ರೀಟ್ ಥರ ಇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನೀರು ಹಿಂಗೋ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೀರು ಹಿಂಗೋ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದರೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ವಾಟರ್ ರೀಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನೀವು ಆ ಹೂಳನ್ನು ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಹೂಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದಾಗ ಮರಳಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮರಳು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಬರೋಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದು ಮಣ್ಣು ಅಂತಾದೇನೆ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏರಿಯಾದಿಂದ. ಆವಾಗ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಕ್ರೀಟ್ ಇದಾಗಿ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿನ ಹಿಂಗೋ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೂಳು ತೆಗೆಯೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೋ ಆ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿನ ಇದು ಭವನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸೋಮಾರಿಗಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿನ ಇದು ತೊಂದರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನೀವು ಬೆಟ್ಟರ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಹಳ್ಳಿಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾವಂತ ಯುವಕರು ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾವಂತ ಯುವಕರು ಇದ್ದಾರೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿನ ಭವನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸೋಮಾರಿಗಳಿದಾರೋ, ಈ ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋ 12,000 ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರೇ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಥರ ಆಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಆಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಗಿಮ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕೋದು, ಅಂಥವ್ರಿಂದಲೇ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಹಾಳಾಗ್ತಾರೆ. I hope you understood. Yes. Yes.
My side.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir, actually in one of your slides in the water footprint, you mentioned this 185,000 gallons per pond the production of feed. So how we can stop this?
See, that actually, I deliberately didn't utter that. Actually, you notice that. We do not know that. That's proud.
Come back, otherwise I will don't discuss.
So, see, large scale ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೋ ಡೈರಿ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್, the water intensive operation. The feed what you generate requires a lot of water. Similarly, the nurturing them and all the things does. So one is, if people understand that water front is there, then if they switch over, that is the best thing. But sometimes that turns out to be emotional. When I was talking to a group of people in Kerala, where journalists and all were there, one young lady got up. She said, "How courageous you are! You have come to Kerala, you are talking against beef." Then I said, madam, did you understand what I am speaking? I said, for week, what is the water footprint? Whether you want to eat or not, it's not my problem. I didn't say don't eat. I said that this is this one you understand. If you want to understand, listen and communicate, because you are a journalist, you should be able to communicate. So then, of course, she understood. After that, she apologized. That
We are doing something for that. What best suggestion you would like to give us for the corporate industry like us and other industries? So what
One
best
is-
we can?
one is, if every industry thinks that there is a social responsibility, not just preparing a glossy report and a so-called CSR. That's a different issue. We'll not get into the details of that.
Taking to the water, how to run the water.
No. If you have an animal, you have milk all the time, isn't it? Till its period of lactation, you have the thing. I am saying that if you remove the babe, then you don't have the animal. By the time the water footprint would have been so high. So that is the we have to do that analysis, economic analysis. That is
I
the
request you to please do some analysis on that.
yeah. There is only one TVR who has to do everything. Youngsters have to do that.